说中文。
Chinese pot, Chinese pot, Chinese pot. That's the way to learn Chinese. Chinese pot, Chinese pot, Chinese pot. That's the way to learn Chinese.
Hi, you're listening to a Newbie lesson on Chinese Pod. I'm Jenny.
Hey guys, my name is John.
This is a special Christmas week. We want to wish you a very happy Christmas.
And we want to give you lots of good news about learning Chinese. You have made the right choice.
Exactly. So today we have a special newbie lesson. It's not based on a dialogue, but John and I want to give you some tips on how to get started and mostly having the right expectations, and hopefully we'll be providing you with tools and ways to help motivate you to progress.
Right, so I have the experience of learning Chinese myself, and I talk to learners about learning Chinese a lot. And so we hope that we can give you some tips to help you avoid some mistakes and keep your motivation high.
好，那John, where do you want to start?
Well, I think I'd like to start with the whole idea of like Mandarin Chinese.
普通话
Yeah, 普通话. So we're talking about Mandarin. And I remember when I first started thinking about learning Chinese, I did a little bit of research and I knew that there was Cantonese and there was Mandarin. And I didn't know, like, are those basically the same? Are they both used in equal proportions? I really didn't know.
So in North America, well, I think many parts of the world, some of the early immigrants tend to be Cantonese speakers, 广东话. So Cantonese has a high profile, right?
Right.
However, in mainland China and also in Taiwan and in some parts of Southeast Asia, I think 普通话 definitely has grown in popularity.
And the proportion of Mandarin speakers overseas are growing as well in relation to the other dialects or forms of Chinese. So numbers-wise, I looked this up, and native speakers of Mandarin are close to 1 billion.
What about Cantonese speakers?
Cantonese, less than 100 million, like 70 million at the high end of the estimates.
So, number-wise, you made the right choice.
Yeah, we're not trying to put down Cantonese or anything. We're just telling you, if you randomly choose a city in China, chances are Mandarin is going to get you the farthest. Well, what are the cities where Cantonese are actually more important?
就是广东 the province in Guangdong.
So that's Guangzhou.
广州, 然后 Shenzhen, which is a municipal city, isn't part of Canton province, but somewhere there.
Right nearby. And also Hong Kong, right?
对，香港.
Okay, but Shanghai, Beijing, Taipei, Xi'an, like a lot of the Chinese cities you might know, they all speak Mandarin, right?
是的. Now, definitely there are many, many different dialects in China, but now the one common language that people use to communicate is 普通话.
Right, so you can be confident that you've chosen a useful language here.
好的. 那 John, objectively speaking, how hard is Chinese?
Objectively speaking, I think that's hard to say, but it's not the easiest language. I think most people would agree. Takes a bit of time and effort.
对.
And I think that's true right from the very beginning. So I remember when I first started learning Spanish, like in the first week of class in high school, we learned that, the letters of the alphabet have different sounds in Spanish.
Yeah.
Right? And we learned that, and it doesn't take very long. It's pretty easy. Really one day you can learn it. And then like Japanese, we would spend like the first week learning the sounds of Japanese. Okay, now Chinese, you typically learn pinyin to learn how to pronounce it.
Yes. Pinyin is the romanization of Chinese characters.
Right. And if you have similar expectations for pinyin that you had for like Spanish, you're going to be...
Surprised.
Yeah, surprised.
And not pleasantly.
Yeah, because pinyin, it takes a bit more time to learn than, say, the alphabet as it relates to Spanish.
But the good news is we have a pinyin chart.
Yes.
John is very proud of that because it's your baby.
Well, it's useful. And because the pinyin chart has all the syllables of Mandarin, all there on one chart.
Yes, and you can actually click each sound and hear it being said to you, being read out,
Right.
and in different tones.
Right, which are important.
Ah,
And we'll come to that. But first, I want to say for pinyin, for other languages, like say Spanish, you might expect to spend a few hours learning the different sounds of the language and how to spell them. For pinyin, I think you can safely expect to spend a few weeks, not a few hours. So you want to have realistic expectations.
是的。
The vowels in different combinations have different sounds. Some of the consonants are not in English. So it's going to take some time.
But I think it's also important to know your objective, because if you're studying for a test, then they might ask you to dictate pinyin, right? They say something in Chinese and you have to write out the pinyin. But if you're using it in daily communication, I think the most important thing is you know those different sound combinations so that it helps you to read a character.
Yeah, you need to learn pinyin in the beginning. You need to learn it well because you're going to keep using it throughout your studies.
对
So spend the time. It takes a little more than you might have thought at first, but spend the time. It's time well spent.
And also, if you want to input Chinese digitally, now people tend to use pinyin, 对不对?
Right. On your computer or on your phone.
Phone.
Right. And the good news, though, is that we're not saying to, don't study how to communicate, focus only on pinyin. You want to do them both at the same time when you're first starting out.
Yes. So actually, I feel, because many traditional Chinese schools make you just study pinyin in the first few weeks, and you don't study anything else.
Yeah, it's like they're trying really hard to squelch your desire to communicate in the language.
我不喜欢拼音 boot camp.
Yeah, so pinyin is very important, but you can learn it alongside the lessons that teach you how to communicate in Chinese.
Yes. So really our recommendation is to study pinyin and a few newbie lessons in conjunction.
Right, so you got your pinyin chart, and then, of course, you're always looking at pinyin when you study the new material as a newbie. And just do both.
对的。好, so what about tones? 声调 we mentioned earlier.
Tones, yes, tones exist.
Yeah.
And they do pose a bit of a challenge.
So besides Chinese, what are some other tonal languages?
Well, like Cantonese, Vietnamese, Thai. Those are the main ones I know.
好，那么声调难吗? Is it difficult?
I would say that yes, it is difficult. And one of the things we want to do with this lesson is to set expectations so you know what you're trying to do. And in terms of tones and time frame, you got to make the time frame a bit longer. So no one just like masters tones in a couple weeks.
Yeah, I kind of feel tone is an ongoing project.
It's a long-term project
对对
to get a handle on tones. So like I said, pinyin, it might take a couple of weeks before you really feel that you know all the syllables of the language. Whereas tones, like it's going to take probably a year or more before you really feel pretty comfortable with the tones. And that's normal.
And as excellent as John's Chinese is, he still occasionally messes up some tones.
But Chinese people do too. That comforts me greatly, actually.
对的
Yeah, you can expect to make some mistakes for a while, and you'll never completely stop making mistakes, maybe. But that's okay.
I recently read a user's comment, and he's saying that he feels like he needs to learn every word twice. First to remember the meaning, how to use it, and then the tones. And he feels, I don't know, maybe slightly frustrated by that.
Well, I think that's one thing that as a Westerner, we're not used to doing, to learning the tone.
Yeah.
I know I've done that before too. I learn a word and I think I know it, but then I realize I don't know what the tones are. And if you're studying a European language like French or Spanish, you might be used to like having to memorize a gender of a noun.
Exactly.
And
Which I am not used to totally.
Yeah, it's totally arbitrary. You just have to memorize it, right?
对
So with Chinese, you don't have all those grammatical things you have to worry about. You have different grammatical things, but you have fewer of these, conjugations and gender and case and all this stuff. but you do have to memorize the tones for the words that you're learning.
It's a fair trade-off.
I get it. Feels like a whole lot of work in the beginning, but it does get easier. It gets easier.
And there are only 5 tones, 对不对？
Yeah, there aren't that many.
就是
But in the beginning, I know it feels like, this is really unnecessary. If I can just remember the pinyin, that's good enough. But if you do a little bit of extra work and do learn the tone, like as you slowly get better at tonal recognition and production, you'll be glad that you spent that extra effort.
And just walk around and say, ah, 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 ah. Ah, 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 ah.
Okay, that's Jenny's recommendation.
No, internalize it.
Oh, okay.
对吧？
Yeah, but also listen to the dialogues, listen to the vocabulary, and really try to make those tones imprint themselves on your memory.
So that means you probably would need to listen or study a lesson more than once.
Right, right. Repetition is key. But I know a lot of people that say for a certain tone, there's like a certain word that really rings true for that tone for them. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, yes. Like the 4th tone.
Right.
Some people say 下.
Or for me, I think
Like
it's
down.
da,
大
da, right?
big.
Yeah, 4th tone, totally 4th tone.
是的.
Big and heavy and falling, 4th tone.
So you can make those mental associations.
Right, but the important thing is to have this mental recording in your head. When you want to remember what 4th tone sounds like, you have to have heard it enough that you can kind of recall it.
Maybe we can make a ringtone, a special ringtone. So anytime anyone calls you, like it reminds you of different tones.
Yeah?
可以吧？
可以.
Oh, 好. And what about characters?
Characters, all right.
I think this is what's most difficult about Chinese for many Western
There are a lot of
learners.
characters.
对
I think we've got a progression in this lesson because we talk about how in terms of being widespread and useful, Mandarin is pretty easy choice. Pinyin takes a bit longer to master than you might expect. Tones take even longer. And then now we're getting to characters. Takes a really long time if you want to learn as many characters as an educated Chinese adult knows. But I think the good news is that if you're learning Chinese for fun, if you just want to become conversational, you don't need to jump into characters right away.
是的. So when you say when you're learning Chinese for fun, what exactly do you mean?
Pleasure, communication.
So who are the people that need to know characters?
Chinese people, right?
Besides us.
Well, if you want to go to, graduate school in China, if you want to use Chinese for your job, if you want to become a translator, if you want to read literature, if you want to get into classical Chinese, Chinese poetry, all that really requires characters.
Sounds so bookish to me. So nerdy. No.
Well, I think some people, they try to take on pinyin and tones and characters all at the same time.
Triple whammy.
Yeah, all in the beginning.
太难了，太难了.
And so tones are important. Pinyin, super important. And characters, of course, they're important, but they can wait a little bit longer, whereas the other stuff can't.
And also, when you're learning characters, you might just want to learn how to recognize them.
Right.
对吧？
But even that's a lot of effort.
是的，是
So
的。
I'd say don't try too hard to learn characters until you really know your pinyin. And that's not going to happen in 1 or 2 days.
So when you started out, how did you do it?
Well, you don't want to ask me that. Because I learned Japanese and then I later learned Chinese.
Then when you were learning Japanese, did you learn the writing at the same time as everything else?
With Japanese, we spend like the first week on hiragana, the second week on katakana, and then after that, we just jump right into characters.
But you were a full-time student.
Right, I was a full-time
so
student.
you had a lot of time.
But again, you have to get down the phonetic script first. Once that is solid, then you can move on to the characters.
I like how you say solid.
Solid. You need a solid foundation, not a house of cards.
是的.
Welcome back to another installment of Chinese Pod Trivia. And the question for you is, for what test does Chinese Pod offer preparation services for? Is it A, the polygraph, B, the colonoscopy, C, the HSK test, or D, the CAT scan?
The CAT scan?
Ooh, sorry, that is incorrect. The correct answer is C, the HSK test. That's right, Chinese Pod will thoroughly prepare you to pass this rigorous test of proficiency in Chinese. ChinesePod.com/HSK.
Okay, so the reason we really wanted to do this show is the new year is just around the corner, and it feels befitting to have some New Year's resolution. And maybe yours is to learn Chinese.
Right.
And I think we might have made things sound, you need to put in the commitment at the time. But we really wanted to set expectations realistic in the beginning.
Yeah, you need to have realistic expectations. But if you do it the way that we're suggesting, you're going to have fun and you'll be kind of setting the stage for long-term acquisition. And not everyone is going to stick with it to the end. But if you do it this way, you can if you want to. Or if maybe you don't make it to the very end, at least you'll be learning useful Chinese and, in a realistic way.
And we really try to provide you with, interesting lessons, interesting topics, and useful tools so that this journey could be a little bit more enjoyable, 对不对?
Right?
And if you have any questions or concerns, please tell us in today's comments section.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you there.
对, we wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. 再见.
再见.
As usual, ChinesePod provides an extensive selection of learning materials for this lesson on its website, www.chinesepod.com. You can access this lesson directly with the lesson number
1833.
So just go to www.chinesepod.com/1833 and you will find a transcript, vocabulary, and much more. The link again, www.chinesepod.com/1833.